Hi, and welcome to another Boom Webster Technology explanatory video. Today we're going to be looking at a presentation where I put together a list of best value new Intel processors for the mid-2019 term of this year. There's going to be three different processors which are going to be referenced to for the purposes of this video. And they're going to have different ratings of values. So obviously the cheapest processor that you can find is not going to have the best value, at least not necessarily. So we're putting it based on three different ratings: lowest cost but like equally good value. So the best value that you can get if you're on a really tight budget. The second one is just going to be best overall value in general. And then the third is going to be stretching performance slightly, although keeping the price still reasonable. So we're going to be looking at those lists of best value new Intel processors right after we roll out our short video intro segment. Okay, so let's get started with the first matter for this video, which is kind of on the side of an announcement that I have pertaining to this channel. We're getting really close to the 50 videos point of this channel, and I want to thank everyone for their engagement and support towards this channel and the videos which we produce. Unfortunately, we are getting close to the time in hitting a content break/block in our video production time schedule. There will be one more week that weekly videos will be posted on, so not including the week that this video is going to be posted on. So one more video is going to be left to be posted on the upcoming Sunday before we hit the content break/block. I can't say exactly when we're going to be back and posting on a regular basis like every Sunday, which I have been trying to stick to for the past few months, as it may be a while. I'm really sorry to say, as this is the first time that we had a content break or block that took place on this channel, although because of limited time resources we can't operate making videos on a consistent schedule at the moment. My suggestion would be to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and turn your bell notifications on, especially as that's going to let you know when we post new videos in the future. We will continue making normal videos in a regular basis once the content break/block is over on our video time production schedule, and when we have more resources available to continue making the great content. Thanks again for your support. Now, starting with the actual first subject of the video. So the purpose of this video and color coordinated budget guide feature, which is going to be explained. This video was created for the purposes of highlighting some good value new condition computer processors which are available at retailers like Newegg. So Newegg is where we actually pulled all the information and prices from, since that is one of popular computer hardware online retailer, although these processors should be available at similar price points at other retailers. And there are going to be different price points and budgets that I mentioned in the intro segment of this video. There is a list that others have generated of best benchmarked computer processors, although some of them can be rather outdated, as I've found, and they're not staying that current usually because they stop benchmarking them after it gets to some point. So now we're looking basically most recent processors. We're trying to stay to the recent and newer generations if we can, since those are usually more efficient and run better with most modern software programs. So this video is a great place to look for suggestions if you're in the market for good new and price to performance oriented Intel based processors. We are going to make an AMD version and post it next week, so stay tuned for that. So now there's going to be 3 types of labels, which we have put the scale for this video: green labeled, orange labeled, and red labeled. Green labeled means very budget friendly. Orange labeled is moderately budget friendly. So orange labeled is what you're going to be looking for if you want like the most bang for the buck processor. And obviously, as I was saying in the beginning, the most cheap processor that you can find is not necessarily going to have the best value, and same as with not expensive. So we're not going like i9 Extreme Edition when I mean red labeled. I mean within like $250, $300 budget as being considerable as reasonable. If I really wanted to, I could have included some other ones like the Extreme Editions, but those are close to $700 to $800, which is a lot more than the average consumer is going to be spending on computer processors, unless it's more of a workstation build, although this is generally for computers and what computer hardware the average person would use. So if you're looking for overall best value, go with orange labeled. If you're on a tight budget but you still want the most performance you can get on that limited budget, go with green labeled. And if your budget can stretch a little bit farther to highest performance within a considerable reasonable amount of budget, then if you can, I would go with red labeled. Intel Pentium Gold G5400 Coffee Lake processor. And so we're going to have the number on this video presentation list, so it's going to be 3, 2, 1, so counting down. That's just because when we made the rating labels on the other one, it's mentioned like this, so think 3, 2, and then 1. Although that's how that labeling and numbering system pretty much works. As closer as we get to 1, it's going to get more powerful and expensive, so it's kind of like a low, medium, high type of budget ranged numbering. So the first one is the Pentium Gold G5400 Coffee Lake Intel processor. This wins the Power on a Low Budget award for this list of processors, and the specs include 2 cores, 4 threads, using DDR4 2400 MHz variant RAM. We're using Intel UHD 610 integrated graphics on this unit, 3.7 GHz base processing frequency, LGA 1151 socket, which is something that all the processors within this list are using. So all of them are going to be using the LGA 1151 socket, and 4 megabytes of L3 smart cache. Number 2 on our list, so this is going to be the best of the best for value new Intel processor and getting that aforementioned award. Since this is our orange labeled selection, and that's going to be the Intel Core i5 9400F Coffee Lake CPU. It's 149 USD on Newegg as of the day this video is being casted or produced in, so 8 by 9 by 2019. On the last one I forgot to mention, this is 73.99 USD, and this one's 149.99 USD. So the prices will get up as we get closer to 1. So it depends on your budget, although if you can spend the additional budget, most people try to get the faster processors. It does allow a little bit future proofing for newer software, although if you can't, then that's very understandable, and for most users I'd recommend the orange labeled. Unless you're on a tight budget, then go with green labeled. So the specs include 6 cores, 6 threads, 2.9 GHz base frequency, 4.1 GHz max turbo frequency, using DDR4 2600 MHz variant of RAM, LGA 1151 socket type, same as the other one. There's no integrated graphics card on this one, so if you do plan on selecting this processor, make sure you have some dedicated graphics card. Honestly, it doesn't have to be a super fancy or expensive one. If you're just doing some basic web browsing or something along those lines, most graphics cards, especially if you can get a used one somewhere, is like under 20 to 25 bucks. So this may still be a very good value option, and don't be too concerned about the integrated graphics not being there to hurt the performance. Or I meant like the performance per dollar ratio. There's 9 megabytes of L3 cache on this model as well. And now going to our red labeled selection is the Intel Core i7-6700K Skylake CPU. We did go 2 generations back from what's current of today, but it's still pretty acceptable and pretty fast, even though the standards have upgraded slightly, so you might be compromising slightly on efficiency, although we do get lower costs since they have made newer ones, so the higher tier ones drop down eventually, and that does allow you to get better performance per the dollar for most times. Especially you can go even lower, maybe I'd say a 4th generation or 3rd generation if you're not dealing with super modern applications. So if it's going like 5 to 10 years back, then maybe it's acceptable for your use. And this is the maximum power with reasonable cost, or well, because it's having the maximum power that you can get within a $250 to $300 budget, which is a little bit more than average to be spent on a CPU, although it's not super crazy as I mentioned before. It's $289.99 USD on Newegg as of today, which is 8/9/2019. This video is going to get published 2 days later, so tomorrow is going to be editing day, and then it's going to get published on 8/11/2019, just to give you some scale of time within our schedule. Specs include 4 cores, 8 threads, an Intel HD 530 integrated graphics unit, LGA 1151 socket as of all the other CPUs which are going to be mentioned within this video, which have been mentioned, 8 megabytes of L3 cache, 4 GHz base, 4.2 GHz turbo frequency, DDR3L or DDR4 RAM compatible, and that brings us to disclosure statement time. Note that all of the products which were featured within this video are essentially being showcased for the purposes of this video, and that this video is not sponsored in any way by any third party. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for watching this video, which is generally towards computer processors. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel, parentheses Boom Web Search if you have not done so already, and have your bell notifications turned on in order to prevent missing any of our future uploads of content. Note that the bell icon only appears to the right of the subscribe button after you've selected the subscribe button beforehand. If you have any future video suggestions pertaining to the subjects of computer software, computer hardware, technology topics, explain how technology works, or basically anything tech related, then please let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next content upload. Bye!